Judges have now indicted Kenya for non-cooperation in the now terminated case of President Uhuru Kenyatta. The court found that Kenya had refused to provide important information requested by the prosecution. The judges have now referred Kenya to the Assembly of State Parties to decide Kenya's fate. But as Joe Ageo now reports, the action may have no immediate impact on the collapsed Kenyan cases.
For nearly 5 years, the ICC case hung over President Uhuru Kenyatta as he became the first ever sitting head of state to face charges at the Hague-based court.
The case is at a critical juncture.
And for a good part of that period, the prosecution alleged that the government of Kenya was withholding evidence relating to Kenyatta's case.
We have not received material which might be regarded as the truly critical material. I don't want to rehearse submissions I've made before about the likelihood of somebody who is involved in offences wanting to cover their tracks.
I sent off communication to the Registrar of Companies. I sent out communication to the Communication Authority of Kenya, to Airtel, to Safaricom, to the Central Bank of Kenya, to the Kenya Revenue Authority, to the Ministry of Lands, to the National Intelligence Service, to the National Transport and Safety Authority. If we desired to delay or obstruct, there would have been no reason for me to commence these consultations.
In March last year, the court terminated the proceedings against the president after the prosecution withdrew the charges. But the prosecution insisted that it was because the state had refused to part with critical evidence. Now the court has finally come home with a verdict whose real weight remains unclear. This is because the chamber acknowledged that the materials sought by the prosecution were only relevant in the Kenyatta case, which has since been terminated. Still, the judges found that, quote, considering the relevance of the materials sought in the Kenyatta case, it is likely that such requests will be relevant for current or future investigations in the cases arising from the same situation. Adding, in any case, the chamber finds that, in general, the lack of bona fide cooperation, as shown by the Kenyan government in this instance, may have a serious impact on the functioning of the court in future proceedings. The case will now be referred to the Assembly of State Parties, a group of countries who are signatories to the Rome Statute, the international treaty that created the ICC. Many legal analysts say the finding may for the moment only be symbolic victory for the prosecution. But to the extent that it indicts the Kenyan government for non-cooperation, it could well be a new diplomatic headache in the coming months. Joe Ageo, KTN News.